Once upon a time, there was an old man known as the bamboo cutter. His job was to make baskets and sieves from the bamboo he collected in the mountains. One day, when the old man went to the mountain, he saw a bamboo shining brightly at its base. Oh, what a mysterious bamboo, the old man wondered. He decided to cut the shining bamboo, and inside, he found a small and adorable girl. About 3 inches tall, radiating a gentle light. A shining girl. Surely, she must be a gift from heaven, thought the old man. Being childless, he was overjoyed and brought the girl home. The old woman, his wife, was also delighted when she saw the girl. Oh my, what a lovely girl. Just as the old man said, she must be a heavenly gift, exclaimed the old woman. They decided to raise the girl as their own child. From the day the girl came to their home, a strange thing happened. Whenever the old man went to gather bamboo, he would often find the bamboo filled with gold. Thanks to this, the old man's house quickly became wealthy. Furthermore, within just 3 months, the once small girl grew up into a beautiful young woman. The grown-up daughter enveloped anyone who saw her with an indescribably sweet fragrance, making their hearts calm and serene. Moreover, even in the darkest places, she emitted a faint light, making the moon in the night sky clearly visible. Therefore, they named the daughter Kaguya hime, which means Princess Kaguya. Shimmering and glowing like the softest light, Kaguya hime's beauty and mystery attracted the attention of many men. Numerous young men came to the old man's house, expressing their desire to marry Kaguya hime. Among them, 5 princes were particularly eager. Their names were Ishitsukori no Miko, Prince Ishitsukori, Kuramochi no Miko, Prince Kuramochi, Abe no Miyushi, Master Abe, Otomo no Miyuki, Lord Otomo, Isonokami no Maro, Marquis Isonokami. All of them were of high rank and wealthy. They are all worthy suitors, the old man said, but he was indecisive. So, he consulted Kaguya hime. The rarest treasure in the world that I want you to bring me, Kaguya hime said, is from now on. I want to marry the one who brings it to me. That treasure is. Upon hearing this, the old man conveyed Kaguya hime's words to the 5 princes. Kaguya hime said the following: Ishitsukori no Miko should bring the Buddha's stone bowl from Tenjiku, India. Kuramochi no Miko should bring the jeweled branch from Mount Horai in the Eastern Sea. Abe no Miyushi should bring the fire rat's pelt from Murokoshi, China. Otomo no Miyuki should bring the jewel held by the dragon. Isonokami no Maro should bring the koyasu shell that the swallow produces. Please bring these treasures individually, the old man explained. Upon hearing this, the 5 princes were astonished. What a difficult request. These are not items that can be easily obtained. However, if they didn't bring those treasures, they couldn't marry Kaguya hime. So, the 5 princes left to search for those treasures. First, Ishitsukori no Miko thought it was impossible to go to Tenjiku. So he obtained an old stone bowl and tried to pass it off as the Buddha's stone bowl. However, when Kaguya hime saw it, she immediately realized that it was a fake. Next, Kuramochi no Miko embarked on a journey to Mount Horai in the Eastern Sea. After a long and arduous search, he finally found a branch covered in beautiful jewels. Believing it to be the jeweled branch, he returned triumphantly to Kaguya hime. However, she could instantly tell that it was not the genuine treasure she had requested. Abe no Miyushi ventured to Murokoshi in search of the fire rat's pelt. Many days and nights passed as he scoured the land, but he could not find any trace of the legendary creature. Disheartened, he returned empty-handed and confessed his failure to Kaguya hime. Otomo no Miyuki set out on a perilous quest to find the jewel held by the dragon. He journeyed to the depths of the ocean, encountering treacherous sea creatures and facing numerous challenges. Finally, after great perseverance, he obtained the jewel from the dragon's lair. Filled with hope, he presented it to Kaguya hime. However, she could sense that it was not the genuine treasure she desired. Lastly, Isonokami no Maro sought the koyasu shell produced by swallows. He patiently observed the swallows' nests and studied their habits. Eventually, he discovered a nest where a swallow laid a shell-like object. Believing it to be the coveted treasure, he carefully collected it and returned to Kaguya hime. Despite his efforts, she knew that it was not the true koyasu shell. Disappointed by the failed attempts of the 5 princes, Kaguya hime realized that they were unable to fulfill her request. Deep down, she had never intended to marry anyone and had hoped that her impossible quest would deter suitors. She longed to return to her celestial origins. Thus, Kaguya hime made a sorrowful decision. She revealed her true identity to her adoptive parents and shared her desire to return to the moon, her heavenly home. The old man and his wife, heartbroken by the news, couldn't bear to part with their beloved daughter. In preparation for her departure, Kaguya Hime held a grand banquet at her residence. Word of the event spread far and wide, reaching even the emperor. The emperor, captivated by tales of Kaguya Hime's extraordinary beauty, requested to see her. Unable to resist the emperor's request, Kaguya Hime appeared before him. Mesmerized by her radiance, the emperor immediately fell in love with her. He expressed his desire to make her his wife, offering her a place of honor in his palace. However, Kaguya Hime declined the emperor's proposal. She explained that her heart belonged to the moon, and she could not abandon her true home. Although saddened by her rejection, the emperor respected her decision. As the day of Kaguya Hime's departure approached, people from all over came to bid her farewell. The palace was filled with sorrow and longing as they expressed their love and admiration for her. Kaguya Hime, touched by their genuine affection, bestowed blessings upon each person, wishing them happiness and prosperity. Finally, the day of her departure arrived. Kaguya Hime, dressed in celestial garments, ascended to the rooftop of her residence. She gazed at the moon, her true home, and bid farewell to her earthly life. In a dazzling display of light, Kaguya Hime transformed into a radiant celestial being. With tears in their eyes, the old man and his wife watched as she soared into the night sky, disappearing into the embrace of the moon. From that day forward, people looked up at the moon and remembered the tale of Princess Kaguya, the radiant moon maiden who had graced their lives. Her story became a legend, passed down through generations, a reminder of the fleeting beauty and ephemeral nature of life. And thus, the tale of Kaguya Hime, the Moon Princess, came to an end. Kaguya Hime's departure left a void in the emperor's heart. He could not forget her radiant beauty and the love he had felt for her. The emperor longed for her presence and found himself gazing at the moon, hoping to catch a glimpse of her. Years passed, and the emperor's love for Kaguya Hime did not waver. He commissioned artists to create paintings and sculptures of her, attempting to capture her essence and preserve her memory. The tale of Princess Kaguya became a popular subject in the arts, captivating the imaginations of many. The legend of Kaguya Hime continued to be told, inspiring poets, writers, and musicians. Her story became a symbol of unattainable beauty and the bitter sweetness of love. People would often recite poems and sing songs about her, expressing their yearning for a love as pure and radiant as hers. In time, Kaguya Hime's story spread beyond the borders of Japan, captivating people from different cultures and backgrounds. Her tale became a cherished part of world folklore, a testament to the power of love and the longing for something beyond reach. And so, the legend of Princess Kaguya lived on, transcending time and borders, reminding people of the ethereal nature of love and the enduring power of a beautiful story.
About 800 years ago, in the midst of a fierce storm, a mother and her 2 young children were hurrying through the mountains on the outskirts of Kyoto. The mother was carrying a nursing infant in her arms. At that time, the 2 major warrior factions, the Genji and the Heike, were fiercely fighting each other in various places. And the leader of the Genji, Minamoto no Yoshitomo, was finally defeated by the Heike. Yoshitomo's wife, Takewa, who still had 3 young children, Imewa, Asuwa, and Ushiwaka, tried to escape to a place beyond the reach of the Heike, but they were eventually discovered by Heike warriors and brought before their leader, Taira no Kiyomori. When Kiyomori learned that the young children were the offspring of Yoshitomo, he immediately ordered their execution. However, he was moved by Takewa's fervent plea to spare their lives. Instead, Kiyomori made a deal with Takewa. He would spare the children's lives, but in exchange, Imewa and Asuwa would have to become monks immediately, and Ushiwaka would have to join the temple when he turned 7. Years passed, and the time came for Ushiwaka to fulfill his promise to Kiyomori. Ushiwaka, you are already 7 years old. You must enter the temple and become a fine young priest, his mother said. Mother, and so, at just 7 years old, Ushiwaka had to say goodbye to his kind mother. When you're lonely, blow on this flute that your father treasured, she said. The temple where Ushiwaka was entrusted was Kurama Temple, located deep in the woods on the Kurama Mountain. There, his rigorous life of training began. One day, while Ushiwaka was studying alone, a voice called out to him. Your Highness, who calls me? Asked Ushiwakamaru. looking around to see an unfamiliar beggar sitting nearby. "Your Highness, it is a pleasure to meet you. I am Kamada Masachika, a traveling monk. Please listen well. You are the child of Minamoto no Yoshitomo, the supreme commander of the Genji clan who was defeated by the Heike clan." "What? Me?" "Yes, I also served under Yoshitomo, who was killed by Kiyomori. You must avenge your father and punish the arrogant Heike clan. You must also restore the Minamoto clan to its former glory." Everything was completely new to Ushiwakamaru. He ran into the mountains and cried alone, for the weight of his destiny was too heavy for a young Ushiwakamaru to bear. A Tengu, details, was watching him. The Tengu jumped down from a tall tree and stood beside Ushiwakamaru. "Get up, boy. A boy shouldn't cry forever. Come with me." Without waiting for an answer, the Tengu quickly disappeared. Where did he go? Ushiwakamaru wondered, looking at his sword leaning against a nearby tree. "All right, I'll take care of that Tengu with this sword." As Ushiwakamaru walked through the woods with the sword, someone hit him on the head. "Ouch! Who is it?" As he looked back holding his head, he was hit again. And again. "Ha ha ha! With that attitude, you won't be able to do anything with that sword. Come on, if you hesitate, you'll be hit again." Ushiwakamaru hastily picked up his sword and took a firm stance, focusing his gaze. Strange shadows flitted about, darting here and there. On closer inspection, he saw that he was surrounded by numerous Tengu. "What do you want?" Ushiwakamaru exclaimed, as the Tengu swooped in on him. Determined not to lose, he swung his sword, but he was struck from all sides, relentlessly. Frustrated, Ushiwakamaru began training in swordsmanship deep in the dark mountains. Right there, left there, run, jump, turn. Ushiwakamaru's swordsmanship rapidly improved under the guidance of the Tengu. Several days passed, and the moon shone brightly one night. Ushiwakamaru suddenly stopped the sharp sword of the Tengu and struck back fiercely with his own sword. "I did it! I did it! I finally defeated the Tengu." Ushiwakamaru's swordsmanship had improved to the point where he was able to defeat the Tengu. From that day on, there was no Tengu that could match Ushiwakamaru. One day, the Tengu said to him, "Young master, there is nothing more we can teach you. We hope you become a splendid samurai." The Tengu were also retainers of Yoshitomo, who thought of the Genji clan. Having trained in swordsmanship in the Kurama Mountains, Ushiwakamaru removed his disguise at the age of 15 and left Kurama Temple. Now we shift our attention to Kyoto. At that time, a mysterious monk named Keizo Benkei would appear every night, stealing the swords of passers-by with the goal of collecting 1,000 of them for a prayer. People were afraid of him. Tonight was the night when he would collect his 1,000th sword. The location was the Gojo Bridge. The sound of a muffled flute could be heard coming from somewhere. The person playing the flute was none other than Ushiwakamaru. "What are you, just a child? You have no business here," said Benkei. However, as soon as he saw the sword at Ushiwakamaru's waist, he exclaimed, "Ah, what a splendid sword! This sword is worthy of being the 1,000th. Benkei lifted his naginata high and stood in front of Ushiwakamaru. "Hey, leave that sword and go." However, Ushiwakamaru slipped past Benkei and walked away. "What? All right then, try taking my naginata." Benkei swung his naginata, but Ushiwakamaru easily dodged it. Ushiwakamaru moved quickly and unpredictably, and Benkei could not keep up. Ushiwakamaru suddenly jumped up and threw an Oji fan in his hand. The fan hit Benkei's forehead, causing him to fall over. "I surrender." Even Benkei, the strong warrior, knelt down and apologized. From that moment on, Benkei became Ushiwakamaru's follower and served him faithfully. Ushiwakamaru later became Minamoto no Yoshitsune and, together with his older brother Yoritomo, defeated the Taira clan in the Battle of Dan no Ura.
This story is from Yamaguchi Prefecture, Japan. Once upon a time, there was a man named Houichi who lived in a temple called Amadaji. Houichi was blind but incredibly skilled at playing the biwa, a traditional Japanese lute. His most famous performance was the depiction of the final battle of the Heike clan at Dan no Ura. The epic tale portrayed the downfall of the Genji clan, with women and children sinking into the sea without a trace. Houichi's biwa playing was so poignant that it could make people shed tears without even realizing it. One summer night, when everyone had left the temple, Houichi remained alone. It's unusually hot tonight. Time passed, and suddenly footsteps could be heard coming from the back gate. Then, Houichi. It was not the voice of the temple's inhabitants. Houichi. Yes, who might you be? I am blind and cannot see. I am a messenger of a noble person. My master wishes to hear your biwa playing and storytelling, particularly the story of the battle at Dan no Ura. Come, I shall guide you to the mansion. Alright, we have brought Houichi. As the man shouted, whispers and rustling sounds could be heard all around. Then, from a distance, an elderly woman's voice spoke. Houichi, please. Share the tale of Dan no Ura with us. It is the most pitiful part. Understood. Both the Genji and Heike forces set sail. Meeting at Dan no Ura. Houichi skillfully used the biwa's tones to create various sounds. The sound of the Heike's ships advancing through the sea, arrows flying through the air. The battle cries of warriors, and the sound of bodies falling into the water. How marvelous! There is no other performer as talented as you in the entire country. The story progressed, and as it approached the scene where the mother of the Heike clan took her own life, everyone burst into tears simultaneously. Houichi, your biwa playing is magnificent. My master is immensely pleased. For the next 6 days, come here every evening and entertain us. In return, we will reward you as you wish. However, you must not speak of this to anyone. Yes, it was already close to dawn when Houichi returned to the temple. Houichi, what were you doing until this hour? I apologize. Houichi didn't reveal anything to Osho. She suspected that something unfortunate might have happened to him. She instructed the men of the temple to keep an eye on Houichi. That night, in the rain, Houichi left the temple. The men quickly followed but lost sight of him. As they passed by the graveyard, they found Houichi. He stood alone in front of a tombstone, completely drenched, and mimicking scenes from the battle at Dan no Ura. Houichi-san. The men forcibly took Houichi back to the temple. Osho listened to Houichi's story in its entirety. Houichi, your life is in danger if this continues. However, I must go out tonight. Before that, let me write sutras on your body. The sutras should protect you. Kanji Zai Bosatsu Gyojin Han Nya Haramida. Sutras were densely written all over Houichi's body. Even if someone calls your name, you must not respond. You must not move. If you make any sound or even the slightest movement, you will be in grave danger. Houichi remained motionless, enduring the excruciating pain that made him feel as if something warm and sticky was flowing down his head. How much time had passed? Clatter, clatter, clatter. The footsteps stopped right in front of Houichi. Houichi, Houichi. The biwa is here, but Houichi is not. Where on earth could he be? Oh, could this be Houichi's ear? Then let's take this ear as proof and return. In that moment, just before they could reach him, ripping sounds. Houichi endured the searing pain that seemed to distance him from his own consciousness, yet he didn't utter a sound. Houichi felt something warm and sticky flowing down his head. Before dawn, Osho returned. Why you? What happened to your ears? Osho was astonished. Ah, Houichi, I forgot to write sutras on your ears. I've done you wrong. We must quickly find a good doctor to treat your wounds. This mysterious incident spread far and wide, and people constantly flocked to the temple to hear Houichi's biwa playing. Eventually, he became known as Mimi Nashi Houichi, meaning Houichi without ears.